I'm Amy Poppinga, and I am here with my good friend,
Sam Mulberry.
And together we are the co-directors of the
Bethel Pietas Honors Program.
Yes, so we are your new co-directors for the foreseeable future until they get somebody else.
That's right.
So we wanted to introduce ourselves to you and talk a little bit about what the program is going to look like this year, changes that are afoot, and just give you some information about some upcoming events. So first of all, Sam, I'm curious, why did you want to be the co-director of this program?
Well, I feel like a lot of my time at Bethel, I'm a Bethel grad myself from 1999, is like fulfilling dreams I had when I was a student. So I was actually in the first cohort of the honors program in the fall of 1995, and I loved it. I loved being part of it. And what I really loved about it was being in the first year meant that we were able to kind of help shape the program. And I think students, especially in this year and in the upcoming years, that opportunity is going to be there again as we're sort of reshaping the program. We really want your input. And so I'm excited to work from the faculty end at helping students and us kind of understand what this new program is. How about you, Amy?
Well, I was not a part of the honors program. I also graduated from Bethel, but I was a transfer student to Bethel. And at that time, you could not be a transfer student that could come into the honors program. But that actually is going to change. And that's one of the things that's going to be different about honors moving forward. But I've been on the committee for, this is my third year on the committee, and I've been teaching in the program for 3 years. And that was really my first introduction. And I was so impressed with and had such a positive experience with teaching a class in the program and the types of students that I was exposed to and have the privilege of working with, and just became passionate about wanting to get more invested in the program and see. It was an exciting time actually to be a part of it because we were looking at making significant changes, and also was really attracted by the group of people that were on the committee who deeply care about it. So I guess that kind of leads me to a question. You and I are co-directors.
That's right.
Why did you agree to co-direct with me? Why not do this yourself?
Because you're one of my best friends here at Bethel. So we work together in CWC, we work together in the history department, we were TAs together in the history department. So I actually think some of these things work better when you have two heads involved, and Amy and I know each other enough to know what are the things that she's good at and I'm not, what are the things that I'm good at and she's not. And that's a big piece of it for me, is I think we can kind of hopefully bring things together and do this effectively.
Yeah, no, well, I couldn't agree with that more. We came as a team on purpose because we really balance each other's skill sets well, but tend to have kind of the same, at the root, the same idea or the same mindset. Or when you bring an idea, I always think, oh, that's even better than my idea. And so I'm a bit of we're both visionaries, but you're such a good executor, and I kind of handle the communication ends of things. Why did our committee rename the honors program the Pietas Honors Program? This is Pietas. Yes. Okay, why?
Partially I think we should even take a step back and think about what the committee did over the last couple of years. We were tasked with not getting rid of the honors program, not necessarily even dramatically changing the honors program, but thinking about how can we expand access to the honors program. So one of the things that you'll notice if you're a student in your second, third, or fourth year is that our goal is to have this year's cohort not be 25 students, but be 50 students. That was one of the first big tasks we had as we were reimagining this. And one of the other things as we looked at other honors programs is they often had a name beyond just being the honors program. It was the something honors program. So we thought about what would be something that would be distinctively Bethel, that would talk about sort of what honors means at Bethel, because that's a lot of what our committee spent time thinking about. And we thought about our religious heritage, and specifically the heritage of pietism. And if pietism is something you're not familiar with, welcome to Bethel. We're going to be talking about it. There's lots of faculty here who specifically do research in pietism, Chris Garrett's, Christian Collins Wynn, people like that. But it really, even if you don't know what it is, you're experiencing it when you're here at Bethel. So we took this notion of pietas as sort of what would be a fitting name for kind of the ethos we want to have around the Bethel Honors Program, which is communal and it's shared. Right, and so that's even seen in the directorship.
And communal questioning, shared questioning, being patient with one another as we seek to find answers, and being there to support and challenge when maybe there aren't answers.
Right, because this is a program where it's not going to be deeply competitive. As we looked at some honors programs, it really is about almost pitting students against each other in this competitive race, and this is not that.
No, and instead it's kind of coming together around mutual interests and mutual commitment. We have a theme this year, so this is going to be one of our changes moving forward, is that we have new events and we have a theme for the year, and we're trying to organize many of those events around that central theme. So our theme for this year is
Courage.
courage. Interesting. What do you think when you think courage?
I mean, the initial thing I think about, because I'm a CWC nerd, is I think about Aristotle defining courage, right? But then I think about sort of bravery, the willingness to do difficult things.
Yeah.
And so I think the first things that come to mind when we think of courage is we think about people who are sort of taking risks. I often tend to think initially in terms of like physical risks in warfare and things like that. We're not going to be talking a lot about that necessarily in terms of courage, but we're interested in courage in terms of what does it mean to be a courageous student? What does it mean to be a courageous scholar? What does it mean to ask difficult questions, to be willing to ask them and to ask them again, even when people don't want to hear those questions? What does it mean to courageously seek out answers and courageously sort of put forth your answers, even in a world that maybe doesn't want to hear those answers?
And what does it mean to be courageously Christian as you do each and every one of those things? So because our theme is courage, we designed one of our sort of new features of honors, which is that this year we're going to offer several what we're calling colloquia. What are colloquia?
Colloquia are times when we get together as a community. We'll be bringing in speakers, panels, things like this to engage this theme with some breadth and with some depth.
Yep, and so actually our first colloquia event is going to be coming up very soon here. It's going to be Monday, October 2nd from 7 o'clock to, was it 7 or 7:30? You'll get it in the email, but we are going to be having an event on Monday, October 2nd from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock centered around the question, are there answers? Intriguing. And to sort of, because we think that, again, a part of courage is saying, what do we do when we don't know? And how do we wrestle with that? How do we live with that? And so to engage that question, we have asked 3 beloved faculty to speak from their disciplines, but also to speak from their role as friends with one another. So we'll have Gary Long from the BTS department, Nathan Gossett from the Math and Computer Science department, Honors Program alum, and Steve Lancaster from the Psychology department. So they're all friends in real life, and often our conversations as friends are also reflective of how we're thinking within our discipline. So it's going to be, I think, a really interesting conversation, and we'd love for you to join us for that. And if you're a first-year student, we need to make you aware that part of the requirements of the program is to attend a certain number of colloquia events throughout the year. Second, third, and fourth-year students, I want to make you aware that there are going to be some minor changes to the way that HTAG procedures work. You're going to be receiving an email from me on Monday, September 11th, just sort of introducing you to myself again. I'll be your contact person for HTAGs and giving you a sense of any kind of changes that have occurred. Don't worry, HTAGs are not more strenuous. We're just trying to improve communication between you and your cooperating professor, help your project to be sort of more enriching and more, I think, applicable to the type of work that you're doing, and also kind of better keep in the loop those of us that are on the committee that are really interested in what you're up to. So look for that email coming up from me. And first year students, we want to make you aware that we have an event just for you coming up in the next couple of weeks. We're calling it the First Year Fuel Up, and it takes place on Saturday, September 23rd. It's going to be prior to the Bethel home football game that day, and it's going to be at 11:30. And where's it going to be, and what are we going to do?
It's going to be at my house. We're going to have a barbecue. I think and Amy and I talk about when people in Minnesota use the word barbecue, they misuse it. We're going to actually have a barbecue
things.
So yeah, I'm going to get the
barbecue
smoker
will be fired
out.
up. Yes, there will be no crock pots.
That's right. It's going to be great.
Well, I don't want to promise that, but there won't be any hot dogs
or meat will not be in a crock pot.
In the crock pots. Yeah, and so this is going to be an event that we have just to get to know you a little bit better, and there'll be some faculty there, and so you'll be getting an email about that. And the great thing is that Sam's house is actually within walking distance of Bethel, and actually is even closer to the football field than it is to the main campus. So whether you're interested in the game or not, we'd love for you to join us, be able to feed you, and get a chance to get to know you here as the semester starts.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. We're so excited to be working with you in the Honors Program. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us. Again, my name is Sam Mulberry, and you can see my email address right here.
And my name is Amy Poppinga, and you can see my email address somewhere in here. So, hope you guys have a great day.